can't hear you. There we go. Thank you all so much for being here. It's a beautiful day in Hawaii. Growing up here in Hawaii, I loved swimming, surfing, having fun in this paradise that we are so fortunate to call home. But I gradually realized growing up that I was actually happiest when I was doing things for other people, doing things to protect our water, to protect our oceans, our land. I felt that this was a different kind of happiness than anything else I experienced when I was just thinking of myself. It was a deeper happiness that stayed with me anywhere that I went. I knew then that no matter what path I ended up choosing in my life, that I wanted service to be that foundation. I'm proud to serve the Guard, where I've served for the last 15 years. And I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to serve the people of Hawaii in so many ways over the years. In the state legislature, where I was elected at 21, serving over 100,000 people in the Honolulu City Council, and now, for over the last 6 years, serving in Congress. Thank you for your trust and your aloha. I'm truly grateful. Our nation was founded on the principle that our government should be of the people, by the people, and for the people, where all people are treated equally and with respect in these United States of America. But today, that vision seems like a far-off dream, where hatred and divisiveness have cast a dark shadow across our country. We're being torn apart by powerful, self-serving politicians and greedy corporations, people fomenting hatred, bigotry, fear, inciting conflict between us or the political party we might belong to. This corruption of spirit is driven by greed and selfishness, and it is eroding the very fabric of our society and democracy itself. This is not who we are, America. The very best of our nation is exemplified by our nation's veterans, who embody what it means to put service above self, who've sacrificed their own personal interests out of a greater love for our people feeling. It's a powerful force, a force that drives us to act, to put service above self. And our men and women in uniform, generation after generation, motivated by love for one another and for our country, have been willing to sacrifice everything for us. They don't just raise their hand and volunteer to serve only to fight for one religion but not another, to fight for people of one race but not another, people of one political party but not another. No. When we raise our right hand and volunteer to serve, to fight for all Americans, we serve as one, indivisible, united, unbreakable, united by this bond of love for each other and love for our country. It is this principle of service above self that is at the heart of every soldier, at the heart of every service member. And it is in this spirit that today I announce my candidacy for president.
Well, let me tell you, I am so proud to be a daughter of Oakland, California. And as most of you know, born just up the road at Kaiser Hospital. And it was just a few miles away that my parents first met as graduate students at UC Berkeley, where they were active in the civil rights movement. And they were born half a world apart from each other. My father, Donald, came from Jamaica to study economics. My mother, Shamala, came from India to study the science of fighting disease. They came here in pursuit of more than just knowledge. Like so many others, they came in pursuit of a dream. And that dream was a dream for themselves, for me, and for my sister Maya. As children growing up here in the East Bay, we were raised by a community with a deep belief in the promise of our country and a deep understanding of the parts of that promise that still remain unfulfilled. We were raised in a community where we were taught to see a world beyond just ourselves, to be conscious and compassionate about the struggles of all people. We were raised to believe public service is a noble cause and the fight for justice is everyone's responsibility. In fact, my mother used to say, "Don't sit around and complain about things, do something." And basically, I think she was basically saying, you gotta get up and stand up and don't give up the fight. And it is this deep-rooted belief that inspired me to become a lawyer and a prosecutor. It was just a couple of blocks from this very spot, nearly 30 years ago, as a young district attorney, I walked into the courtroom for the first time and said the 5 words that would guide my life's work. Kamala Harris for the people. Now I knew our criminal justice system was deeply flawed, but I also knew the profound impact law enforcement has on people's lives and its responsibility to give them safety and dignity. I knew I wanted to protect people, and I knew that the people in our society who are most often targeted by predators are also most often the voiceless and vulnerable. I believed then, as I do now, no one should be left to fight alone. Because you see, in our system of justice, we believe that a harm against any one of us is a harm against all of us. That is why when a case is filed, it doesn't read the name of the victim, it reads the people. And this is a point I have often explained to console and counsel survivors of crime, people who faced great harm, often at the hands of someone they trust, be it a relative or a bank or a big corporation. I would remind them, you are not invisible. We all stand together, because that is the power of the people.
NFL players who take a knee during the national anthem? And is it disrespectful to this country, to the flag, to service members who are right there tonight, where it is tonight in Afghanistan, and those former service members, retirees, and veterans who are here with us today? Thank you each for your service. My short answer is no. I don't think it's disrespectful. Here's my longer answer, but I'm going to try to make sure that I get this right, because I think it's a really important question. And reasonable people can disagree on this issue. Let's begin there. And it makes them no less American to come down on a different conclusion on this issue, right? You can feel as a young man does, you can feel as I do, you're every bit as American, all the same. But I'm reminded, somebody mentioned reading the Taylor Branch book. You did. Parting the Waters and the King Years. And when you read that book and find out what Dr. King and this nonviolent, peaceful movement to secure better, because they didn't get full, civil rights for their fellow Americans, the challenges that they faced, those who died in Philadelphia, Mississippi, for the crime of trying to be a man, trying to be a woman in this country, the young girls who died in the church bombing, those who were beat within an inch of their life crossing the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama with John Lewis, those who were punched in the face, spat upon, dragged out by their collar at the Woolworth lunch counter, or sitting with white people at the same lunch counter in the same country where their fathers may have bled the same blood on the battlefields of Omaha Beach or Okinawa or anywhere that anyone ever served this country. The freedoms that we have were purchased not just by those in uniform, and they definitely were, but also by those who took their lives into their hands riding those Greyhound buses, the Freedom Riders in the Deep South in the 1960s, who knew full well that they would be arrested, and they were serving time in the Mississippi State Penitentiary. Rosa Parks getting from the back of the bus to the front of the bus, peaceful, nonviolent protests, including taking a knee at a football game to point out that black men, unarmed, black teenagers, unarmed, and black children, unarmed, are being killed at a frightening level right now, including by members of law enforcement, without accountability and without justice. And this problem, as grave as it is not going to fix itself. And they're frustrated, frankly, with people like me and those in positions of public trust and power who have been unable to resolve this or bring justice for what has been done and to stop it from continuing to happen in this country. And so nonviolently, peacefully, while the eyes of this country are watching these games, they take a knee to bring our attention and our focus to this problem, to ensure that we fix it. That is why they are doing it, and I can think of nothing more American than to peacefully stand up or take a knee for your...
Six months and 8 days ago, a story broke in the New York Times that lit a match on a fire that is still burning. It was about Harvey Weinstein. But as we all know, it was about much more than that. It was about the systemic devaluation of women in our society. It was about the abuse of power. It was about the pervasiveness of sexual assault and sexual harassment that women experience every day across America within the existing power structure of society. It was a moment when this scourge finally began to come out of the shadows. And many of the people in this room helped give that fire the oxygen that it needed to burn. None more so than Tarana Burke. Tarana made this her life's work a decade before there was a hashtag and famous people taking up her cause. But she knew then that it wasn't just about her. She knew that it was about all survivors, including Black and brown women who are too often forgotten or marginalized. People in this room have joined this mission. We saw the power of women when they stood up and said, "Me too," when they stood up and took action and said, "Time's up." It became more than a moment. It became a reckoning, a movement that was necessary and, yes, at times painful, because it includes people we love. But we must not lose sight that this watershed moment is bigger than any one industry or any one person. We must not lose sight that this conversation is ultimately about whether we value women. And for too many institutions, their actions speak louder than words. Time and time again, we've seen institutions protect predators by disbelieving survivors, by blaming survivors, or even worse, retaliating against them when they report. Employers mandate forced arbitration and non-disclosure agreements in standard employment contracts. So what I'm asking you all today is to keep going. Keep using your voices, use your platforms, use your name, use your time, use your energy to do the hard work that is ahead of us. Let us use our collective power to fight together for women everywhere, up and down the economic ladder, who don't have bosses in the public eye. And I'm talking about hourly workers who might work in retail stores or hotels or restaurants or on farms or in businesses or in bars, all who cannot today call out their abusers because it's not an option. So to achieve lasting change, we need to fight this everywhere on behalf of everyone by insisting on accountability, ending forced arbitration and non-disclosure agreements, working to bring more women leaders into every single industry. When you have a woman in charge of your company, of your business, it changes everything. Women in positions of power have a different lens, have a different view. And so when women decide to own their ambitions, it changes the world. So run for office. Go for that corner office. Make that film. Take the risk. Because America will only achieve her full potential when every woman and girl reaches theirs. And just one example. Imagine the day when we have 51% of women in Congress. We only have 22 in the U.S. Senate, only 18% in the House of Representatives. Do you think this U.S. Senate would still be doing nothing to change the sexual harassment system where members of Congress get to play by their own set of rules, get the taxpayer to pay their settlements? Do you think we would finally change that? A system that's designed to protect predators over and over again? I can tell you the answer is no. Because every single woman in the U.S. Senate, all 22 of them, Democrats and Republicans, joined together to demand a debate on the Senate floor to pass a bill that I helped to lead.
It is an honor to be here tonight and to be following in the footsteps of my good friend Elizabeth Warren, and to be here tonight to thank Michelle Obama for her incredible service to our country. She has made all of us proud. Let me begin by thanking the hundreds of thousands of Americans who actively participated in our campaign as volunteers. Thank you. Let me thank the 2.5 million Americans who helped fund our campaign with an unprecedented 8 million individual campaign contributions. Anyone know what that average contribution was? Right, $27. And let me thank the 13 million Americans who voted for the political revolution. Giving us the 1,846 pledged delegates here tonight. And delegates, thank you for being here. And thank you for all the work you have done. I look forward to your votes during the roll call tomorrow night. And let me offer a special thanks to the people of my own state of Vermont who have sustained me and supported me as a mayor, congressman, senator, and presidential candidate. And to my family, my wife Jane, our 4 kids, and 7 grandchildren, thank you very much. I understand that many people here in this convention hall and around the country are disappointed about the final results of the nominating process. I think it's fair to say that no one is more disappointed than I am. But to all of our supporters here and around the country, I hope you take enormous pride in the historical accomplishments we have achieved. Together, my friends, we have begun a political revolution to transform America, and that revolution, our revolution, continues.